JJ, some of the threes started to fall in the fourth, but did you see the defense pick up at all in that second half, and especially in the fourth, relative to the first half?
First of all, I want to apologize to you because pregame saw the suit, saw the tie combo. I didn't put it together with the shoes until we got out on the court and you were doing your pregame hit. So just really appreciate it. That's
Thanks,
all.
JJ.
You're welcome.
It's very nice.
Yeah, our defense in the first half was not good. Another game where, it's becoming a theme with our team. They shoot 15 points over expected. They made 5 more threes than expected. I mean, I can count in my brain the ones that were ridiculous shot making. Challenged them at halftime. I thought our defense was much better in the second half. It wasn't perfect. It was much better. The guys that came off the bench, Vando, Maxey, Jake in the second half really changed the game for us with their multiple efforts. And again, another game, another point of emphasis, just, winning the possession battle. You think about like special teams in football and quality control and all that stuff. And it's like, those are the guys that are going to make a difference with that, just getting you extra possessions. Maxey had an amazing chase down block, got the rebound, drew a foul. Vando on the offensive glass. Jake had a big putback in the second half. So again, those guys were excellent.
It sounds almost ridiculous. You look at Luka's stat line, and you could argue he didn't, play his best game for part of the game, but the assist to the low turnovers and some of the shot making late, the free throw line. What did you just see from him overall, and what have you seen from him the last couple of weeks?
Yes, just like stretches of playing excellent and being engaged and executing our stuff defensively, and then stretches where he's not as engaged and isn't executing our stuff defensively. But I would say that's for everybody. I think the biggest thing, he played certainly well enough to lead us to a win, but, him and LeBron with 24 assists and 3 turnovers, and, we didn't necessarily run, I don't know the volume off, I haven't looked at the stats from tonight, but we didn't necessarily run a ton of pick and roll. It was a lot of off-ball stuff. I don't know if you guys watch baseball, but, the third baseman giving all the hand signals, that's something we've been working on so that we don't run into the situation we ran into in Philly where I'm trying to call a play, Phoenix, I'm trying to call a play. Guys don't know what we're doing, so we're using hand signals now like a third base coach in baseball. And I thought our ability to pick that up and execute, get the ball to the right guys, Luka being live on some stuff where he was off ball and then making plays once he got the ball was awesome.
Just following up on the signals, they couldn't hear you in Phoenix and Philly, you're trying to say? And so you had to do a visual cue versus a verbal?
Philly, for sure. I don't think they heard me. Phoenix, I think they were tired. And we talked about having the nonverbals and then being able to echo it on the court so everybody knows what we're doing.
You guys were missing like 40-plus points from your starting lineup tonight with no Reeves and no Ayton. And I understand there's been a lot of talk about the defense, and rightfully so, but you put up 143 despite missing those pieces. Just how would you assess your offense at this stage of the season?
Still a lot of work to do. I think part of the struggle, and I use that word very lightly because it's not like a struggle where I'm like sitting there and like beating my head against a wall, but part of the struggle as a coach is getting guys to buy into maybe doing something that they're not comfortable with, or that, it's easy to I just want to run pick and roll. It's easy. That isn't always the right thing to do versus a defense. And I felt like tonight, especially like they, Luka, LeBron, they really just bought into the off-ball stuff, and we milked a couple plays over and over again. They ended up getting the ball and then either having open shots or driving. So I thought they did a good job of that, and that's going to be a continuous thing throughout the year. Obviously when you miss Austin, he's actually is our best off-ball player. So, getting those guys to buy in has been good.
JJ, with Keontae George was so effective in the first half. His speed, he's not the first kind of fast guard like that's given you guys some trouble this year. What was the adjustment with him, do you think, specifically in the second half? Where did the containment get better? And as you guys kind of chart forwards with this version of your roster, how important is it that you guys are maybe you might not have a 48-minute defensive effort against like those kinds of players, but that it's good enough when it needs to be?
Well, first of all, George gives a lot of people problems. I mean, the guy's averaging around 25 points a game or a little under 25 points a game. So he's proven to be a dynamic offensive player. And in terms of adjustments, it was more about doing our things better. I think one thing that happened in the second half was Maxey being on the floor, Nurkic being off the floor allowed us to go to 15, allowed us to switch 1 through 5, and just kind of keeping the ball in front of us. We did a better job with our shifts in the second half. I think all that contributed to it. It wasn't necessarily, hey, we're going to do X, Y, or Z versus him.
You mentioned, not remembering the best right now, but the expected score, they overshot, I think, in the first quarter. I think you said maybe by 50.
No, it was the first half. The expected score we were up 11. They made 5 more threes but that's every game now. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. Every team makes shots against us. It's just a fact of life.
How does that, I guess, inform how you coach the team at halftime? And if you are finding that to be a repeated pattern, I guess what do you take away from that?
Very simple. I mean, if we have to make an adjustment, we'll make an adjustment. If you're not doing the things we're asking you to do, then that's on you. It's very simple. We'll make an adjustment, and we have made adjustments throughout the year at halftime. Other times we just show it. This is what we did for the last 2 days. This is what we did this morning at the hotel. This is what we watched on film multiple times. This is not what we did in the game. It's just do it better.
JJ, in that late in the third quarter, you called a timeout and you were gesturing. What was your body was moving from where we were sitting. Arms were moving quite a bit. After, I think, since the ball hit the 3, and then you called a timeout, you didn't look very pleased with.
Oh, that wasn't late. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
but at that
again,
point,
that was another.
That's when things
That was another example of us.
What was your message to them at that point?
Do what you're supposed to do. That wasn't our defense, and Sensabaugh is a laser. He's on the laser board. Do what you're supposed to do.
And do you think that's seemed to, spark you guys a little bit more? Because you guys had a good defensive push from that point on, I thought.
The players got to go out and do it. So it's not. I don't know if it sparked them or not. And I just know that after that, they were better.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep. Thanks.
Get paid for covering a Vita Cup quarterfinal.
Oh, boy.
Jaxson, what did you make of the defensive effort, or I guess the changes defensively you guys had in the second half, really late in the third, going into the fourth, compared to where you guys were at early in the game?
Maxey and Vando just came in and really changed the game, and they were killing it today. I really think I need this one. It's just us 3. But they really impacted winning today, and Jake too. So those guys just came in and brought us a spark.
JJ, I mentioned him that you're missing DeAndre and Austin. That's like 40-plus points in the starting lineup. You come in, add 16, don't miss a shot, and for a team you score 140. Where do you think the offense is? And JJ said he was asking you guys to implement some off-ball stuff. How do you think that wrinkle can help?
I feel like offensively, our team's, one of the most skilled offensive scoring teams in the league. It's just every night we got to come out and play defense and fly around and play team defense. When we don't, that's when we have games like tonight. But I feel like with our offensive system and with the guys we have, we can come out and score every night.
There was a stretch between halftime and like midway through the third where I think it was Marcus, you, and Luka all picked up techs. And during a point in the game, it seemed like the game could kind of go either way. You guys were trailing. What was said either from other players or the coaching staff to help you guys regain your composure and help you guys? I think you guys tied the game late in the third and ultimately took it back over in the fourth.
Everyone was just talking about how we're still there and keep our heads, and just not like telling all those guys we got a tech not to get a second one. It was really just everyone just trying to keep each other calm because, obviously that was a pretty crazy game. Just the guys trying to keep everyone calm.
What was it like at halftime? You gave up 78 points after all the emphasis on defense leading up to tonight.
Yeah, halftime was just straight about defense. Coming into half, what we had I can't do math right now, but
78, 73.
yeah, 74. No, 73. You're right. Yep. And then so it wasn't about offensive side. Like we were executing on offense. It was just all about defense. We came in at half, and that was just our emphasis.
You have the ice pack. You all right physically?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Be okay for the Clippers game?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Thanks, Jax.
All right, thank you.
It's kind of a unique night with all the calls both ways. When you took the floor to start that fourth quarter, what was the kind of main purpose to set the course? I think it was a 12-2 run or something to kind of turn the game there.
We got to get stops. That was the most important thing. Obviously, we know this Utah team can score a lot of points at a very high rates, but it was very imperative that we got stops. We had to get stops to start that fourth, and then it allowed our offense to click.
Where do you go to when, like, obviously you always want to get stops, right? But like when you really need to buckle down, or are there certain things that you individually or that you can kind of try to get the rest of the guys to circle around there?
It always starts with communication, obviously, and then a point of attack. We got to control the controllables, and we can't make mistakes. We have a game plan, and we have to execute those. And if they make a shot off of that, then okay. But if we're breaking down defensively, and they're making us pay, then those are all mistakes. So throughout the start of the fourth, we didn't make any mistakes there to start the fourth.
You took a pretty good shot to the knee, and probably pretty scary there for a minute. What happened? How were you able to get through it?
What happened?
What'd you feel?
Just a little bolt to the knee, like a sharp pain to the knee. Got a knee on the inside, kind of like the medial side of the knee, and just kind of wanted to take my time a little bit as it calm down or whatever case may be. We're hoping calm down, and told Mike, my trainer, I said we dodged a bullet there.
Look kind of similar to the one where you got hurt at the end of the season last year, a little bit.
Same side. Yep. Same side.
For you, is the uncharted territory is a phrase that comes. You're playing your 23rd NBA season. No one's done that before. For your body to still respond to plays like that in the way that it has throughout your career, does that give you extra confidence as you go through this physically and about where you're at and like maybe you're not as old as I always remind you?
I mean, I was just praying for the best for sure. I mean, like you said, I mean, the miles that I got as far as in the minutes and the years and a little over a week from turning 41, certain plays and certain things that you don't want to happen, and it could be anybody. It don't matter if you're turning 41 or 21. You take a knee to the inside of your knee at that type of speed, it can be alarming. So, like I said, I'm just very grateful and thankful that nothing came out of it at that point. Now, obviously, we got a flight to get on. That's going to be the most important. How I feel once I get it, on this plane and then land back in LA. But I think I'll be okay.
Recognize defense has been a point of emphasis for this team, and the offense has been pretty good so far. With that said, JJ said he kind of challenged some of you guys to play with some more off-ball actions. And how can that benefit this group in the long run? As good as you have been offensively, to have a deeper playbook.
Well, you have to have an array of offensive sets and an array of you have to be able to. Your pie chart has to look a lot different. It can't just be ISO or heavy pick and roll or heavy post ups. It has to have a good balance. So and every game is going to have its difference. Some teams play defense differently than other teams, so you have to be able to go into the playbook and go into the toolbox and say, okay, we have this versus this, we have this versus that, and I think we're going to continue to build that. But tonight was a good start for us.
What stands out about the level that Keontae George is playing at this season?
Confidence.
Do you think he's at all-star level so far?
No, I'm the wrong guy to ask that question, champ. I watch YouTube golf these days, so I'm the wrong guy to ask about that. He played great tonight. He played great last time we played him, and he's playing good ball versus us. But yeah, I'm more on the Brian Burrows and Grant Horvat and Bryson DeChambeau and the rest of those guys. So,
what can you say about Luka then? You see him every night, and then tonight is his first 40-point triple-double as a Laker. What can you say about his playmaking tonight?
It's Luka magic, so there's no surprise. He's It's just so damn good. It's ridiculous.
Following up
Last question.
on Dan's point, is part of all the strength training that you've done over the years to kind of steel your body so that when you do get hit, you might be able to sustain that more than most.
That's been a point of emphasis for me and Mike throughout my whole career is being proactive and not reactive. You know, everything that we do in the off season, everything that we do during the season is all about being proactive. If I do take a certain fall, if I do take a certain hit, then maybe if it's you're not out as long as you may have been, or maybe you're able to shake it off. And working every part of my body, I've had a lot of rolled my ankles, and a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice to put the work in when ain't nobody watching and no one's seeing it. And then, it pays off for sure. It pays off. Appreciate it.
I want to start in that fourth quarter. You got 3 threes early in the period. Were you noticing anything about the way they were playing and kind of where you were getting into that gap to get the looks?
Yeah, played me how every other team's been playing me, and how they've played me the last 2 games we played them. I've been shooting the ball well to start the year, so they figured just make them make shots, and tonight I found a rhythm. Shout out to Luka and those guys, LeBron, finding me, and then just being ready to knock down the shot.
What did you guys do at least a little better in the second half, and particularly that start to the fourth on defense tonight?
Just urgency. We picked up our urgency. We were in passing lanes. We were helping one another. Those straight line drives that they were getting. We were putting the body in front of them and making everything as tough as possible. They hit some shots, but we made them work for them a little bit more.
When the game is kind of that tightly called, it seems like on both ends, and you're trying to figure out the rhythms of it. What's the challenge there, and how did you guys do tonight?
It's challenged because as a defender, you already don't have a lot of leeway to play defense. So when the game's getting called like that, it really, makes your job a lot tougher. Because any contact you make, even if you're not the one creating it, it's going to be a foul on you. Offense always gets the benefit of the doubt, so it makes it hard. So we have to understand that and just continue to play through it and not let it discourage us. And then that's what we did. So it was tough, but that's part of the game. So we figured it out, and that's what we got to continue to do.
The way they were, is there always a point you think we need to get some consecutive stops?
For sure. For sure.
It can't happen, and it did happen.
For sure. We just a saying, make them miss, don't hope they miss. And it is so true. Guys are too good in this league for you to, hope they miss. So we got to get up in guys. We got to make every shot difficult. We got to, make contact early before. Can't let guys be the aggressor. So that's what we did, and they started to miss some shots that they were hitting early on.
What was the frustration for you at halftime? What had you upset?
A lot of things, but it's just, like I said, as a defender, you're already at a disadvantage, and when the offensive guy can put his hands on you and make all the contact, and you only have a small margin of error. Your hands got to be this certain way. If it's just a little bit off, it's a foul, but this guy can run full speed at me, duck his shoulder, push me off, and it's nothing. So it's just, that was typical. And then, I'm walking down with my hands up to post up, not running, not going forcefully, just walking, and the guy just falls. Hey, they caught it. So it was frustrating. I think everybody was frustrated. I think out of both teams, it was around 80 free throws to get today, and that's a lot. So I think everybody was frustrated tonight.
With the Luka's playmaking, especially in the fourth.
It was big. It was big time for us. He stayed in mentally. He stayed in there. I know he was very frustrated with a lot of things as well, but he kept his composure, held it together, and did what he does best, and that's control his team and help us come up with this victory.
Luka, 45-point triple-double with 5 steals has only been done by one other player in league history since steals have been recorded. Cade Cunningham did it earlier this year. And I think it wouldn't be crazy to say they didn't even play your best game.
It's definitely not crazy.
What'd you make of your production tonight? And, in terms of how much you could possibly do, are you kind of just scratching the surface?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I could do some more. But I think that one turnover is the best stat-wise on this stat sheet. We had 7 turnovers, which is impressive for us. And, we won the game. In the end, that's what matters. But I think we locked in a lot in the second half. We did a great job.
What was the conversation like at halftime after giving up 78 points when the last couple of days all the talk's been about defense?
I mean, kind of like, when they have their star player out, we're kind of known for doing that. So, JJ told us we got to go back to see what was on the scouting report, first 3 words. So that's what we did. It was intensity on defense. I think they scored, until there was like 5 minutes to go, they scored 40 points in 18 minutes. Then I don't know what did, but I think our second half was very good.
And one more for you. It ended up being a clutch game. I mean, it didn't feel like it, but it qualifies as a clutch game. You guys are 10-0 in clutch games this season.
That's how we do it.
That's how you do it? Yeah. Sandbag your way to it. Do you think that is a stat that's indicative of, even there are some other maybe discouraging stats with this team right now, but is that a stat that's indicative of this team's potential?
I mean, I think it's pretty awesome to be 10-0 in the clutch. I feel like you said we're 12-3 on the road too, which is not easy at all. Playing on the road is not easy, but it's definitely encouraging. I feel like we can figure out a lot of things down the stretch. I feel like we didn't execute the way we should, so there's a lot of improvement in that for sure.
To piggyback on Dave's stat for you, going into tonight, you guys had the best defense in the NBA in clutch games. Second best now after tonight, but does that sort of speak to like this team's mentality to like lock in when it matters most? And is that always maybe not such a good thing? Like would it be better if it was more a consistent part of the identity of this team?
I mean, definitely better if it would be more consistent, but even the clutch is not bad to be second or first. But I feel like I said before, we have a lot of improvement left. Yeah, that's it. I have nothing else.
Going into the fourth quarter, down 4, what did you do to take control of the game, even when they started bringing traps and doubles towards you?
I was just trying to play my game. I feel like my teammates helped me a lot. The second unit, LeBron, they actually made a difference. Vando, Maxi, who else was coming? Jake, just those people coming on the bench with energy. They give up, everybody lifts. So I think if they don't play, we don't win this game.
Was there anything in particular? Sorry. Was there anything in particular that was being said courtside that like really got you going? It seemed like you had a couple really good, hearty conversations.
Yeah, it was one guy. That was the same guy.
What did you say after the lob to Jaxson?
What did I say? I don't remember. Probably said how his night is going. How is he?
Thanks, Luka.
You said sit down.